All right. Today is February 2nd, 2026, and I took 3 trades today. Today was a Monday. And let's just go into what happened. I took 3 trades. 2 of them were break even, and one of them was a loss. So let's go into what happened. Going into the morning, I was pretty neutral biased. Going into the morning, I was pretty neutral. There we go. Going pretty neutral, right? My idea was that we were going to fill this imbalance, respect this 15-minute gap and trade lower because we had low resistance liquidity below. London lows was unsponsored move, right? On the daily, I think we have a lot of, we had these current day low and then these daily lows over here, right? And we weren't really rejecting out of anything higher time frame, right? This is not a 4-hour fair value gap. This is not a hourly fair value gap, right? We didn't sweep out these hourly lows. So I was thinking if we were going to move, they're going to create an SMT with ES and then make your move up, or we were going to, NQ would trade down to them. So I was thinking we were going to be bearish this morning, leaning more towards bearish. Right, but then I noticed we had swept Asia lows, right? This would be a liquidity sweep. And then we got displacement higher, disrespecting bearish PD arrays, respecting bullish PD arrays. Right, we're trending up. And we already had filled this new week opening gap, so this isn't really a draw on liquidity anymore, right? So we're not coming up to fill this. We're coming up to take all this low resistance liquidity above here. Right, so the first trade that I took was, I wouldn't say it's a bad trade, but it wasn't, I would say it's like a B minus, probably. My first initial thought was here. We're trading right into this 15-minute right at open. I would like to see us at least rebalance this 15-minute, right? Trade lower to go higher. But what we did is we left these 1-minute equal lows. Actually, the 15-minute equal lows. Right, these 15-minute equal lows inside of this fair value gap. And I was thinking, okay, if we're going to go higher, we're at least going to hit this 15-minute and take out these equal lows before expanding up. So right in the market open. Right, market open, we trade up higher on ES too as well, right? We trade up higher. NQ takes these highs, creates an SMT with Asia. So at the time, we have this Asia SMT along with an internal SMT. Well, the internal SMT isn't formed yet, but we have this 30-second inversion, right? And I wanted to see us take that down to the 15-minute fair value gap and the 1-minute equal lows. But where I went wrong is ES wasn't rejecting at all, right? ES was actually respecting bullish PD arrays, especially on the 30-second. I want these two to be aligned. If ES, maybe the candle closure was down here and NQ was still up here, this would be a really good trade. But what ended up happening is we just kept trading. We went higher and I got stopped out. Big thing I think is just ES not being ready to reject as well, right? Correlated assets. So from there, we took that loss, and at this point, we're trading way above this 15-minute gap. I'm like, okay, we're not bearish. We're going to be bullish. So I'm looking for longs, continuation longs, to run all of this low resistance liquidity, right? So we play price. Nothing really happens here. Right? We mark out all the 5 minutes. All the 5 minutes. All the 5 minutes that form. Right. I didn't take this MEC model because why didn't we take this MEC model? First of all, the displacement of this wasn't very low, wasn't very quick and speedy. This is probably something I would have lost to in the past. Right. I probably would have taken a loss And yeah, it just wouldn't have been good. I faded this just because we were so bullish on the higher time frame, and this would be like a mech that wouldn't make any sense, right? So we keep trading, and I did want this to play out. I wanted us to leave these data highs here, trade into the 15-minute, sweep this low resistance liquidity and get a 1 minute inversion, or like any sort of inversion, something like this, right? If we trade lower, hit this 15, hit this 5, get the inversion, and then we have data highs, these highs, and all the hourly highs as our drawn liquidity. That would be my most optimal entry, but we didn't get that. And something I need to think about is we respected a 5 minute. The reason I didn't take this is because we have a 15-minute below. I wanted to see the 15-minute get rebalanced and this low resistance liquidity below, right? There actually was a 2-minute entry here, right here on this 2-minute break even here, right? Targeting all the low resistance liquidity. Right, so from there, we just continue to trade up very slowly. And right here, this is when ES had taken this 4-hour high. Going to the 4-hour. Right, ES already took this 4-hour high. And I really wanted NQ to take this high because you'd be sweeping liquidity inside a 4-hour imbalance. And we could look for a max short. And we left all those unfilled imbalances. But we created this SMT. We created this hour, or we didn't create. We're trading into this hourly fair value gap that has been respected before. And then we got a 5-minute inversion and right into the 15-minute gap. Right, so at this point, play a couple more candles, right? This 15-minute gap is created already. So I took this one short because I had a lot of conviction that we would hit the 15. This was like a not like necessarily a gamble, but I knew we were going to hit this 15-minute gap and maybe we displaced lower to the 5-minute. This was like almost guaranteed to be break even, but worth a shot kind of trade. Right, and at the same time, ES was displacing lower and trading into 5 and also opening up the 15-minute, right? When I knew it was going to trade into the 15 if we're going to be bullish. It's not going to inverse a 5 and not hit the 15 and then rip up. So it was worth a shot to try that. Obviously, it was a very break-even trade almost instantly. You hit the 15-minute and you get break-even. All right, I'm still looking for shorts here. Only if something super obvious presents itself at this point. All right, so we trade up, we create an SMT, we sweep out these equal highs, and then we get a 2-minute inversion to the downside. And this I would consider pretty high, or a pretty good rated model, right? We have internal SMT, external SMT inside the hourly fair value gap. Both NQ and ES are rejecting. We are inverting this 2-minute, and ES is displacing past these candle lows. So I took this 2-minute, and we're gonna go break even at the 15-minute intermediate low that traded into the 15-minute fair value gap. And what happened is we got broken even, but this trade did play out. My break even spot was right at the change in the state of delivery, right at the order block, which is why I think we got broken even here, even though we left these beautiful equal lows, right? Resting 5-minute below. I really like this trade, but I had to manage risk, so I did go break even on this. This was also break even. And then it did end up playing out to our draw. But there's not much I can do there, right? I think that was a solid trade. I stuck to the rules of the model. And overall, I'm happy with it. So this is the trades I took today. Overall, we're down 1R, which is 1%, $500. But it's no biggie because as long as we follow the rules, follow the model, we should be all right. Okay, see you later.